Welcome back. In the most recent GOP debate, GOP presidential candidates told me spending cuts and tax reform are among the biggest priorities to improve the economy. Voters sharing similar feelings. In this past Pew Research poll, 59% say they want Congress to completely change the federal tax system. Here now, billionaire industrialist Charles Koch reacting when he sat down with me last week in Palm Springs.
That's one of the biggest problems in the country. We have a debt and unfunded liabilities of over $100 trillion. We're headed for financial cliff. And people want these programs, but they're not sustainable at this level. So it needs to be dealt with. And this isn't one party, this is both parties contributing to this irresponsible spending and waste.
And the big kahuna in all of this is the entitlements, Social Security,
right,
in particular. How do you think we actually move the needle on this? I mean, what kind of changes do you think make sense?
Well, I think we need to consider that people are living longer and will live longer, and then we need to allow innovation to occur rather than all these regulations and other things that are stifling it. Because if we do that, if we allow innovation, medicine can be practiced much more efficiently. Everything through economy can, but we need to get rid of these misguided policies that are stifling these opportunities to make these fabulous improvements in everybody's life.
I've got to ask you about, you being enemy number one for the Democratic Party. I mean, money in your critics will say money in politics has really changed and made the system ugly. What do you say to people who are upset about money in politics?
Well, I think that's a straw man. I think they're really upset about is that people are opposing their idea, which Hayek called the fatal conceit and William Easterly called the tyranny of experts. Is their idea is a few of those philosopher kings and queens know better how people should live their lives than people do, because people are either too evil or too stupid to run their own lives, but they have the wisdom to tell them how to live them, force them to live that way. And so I oppose that. So when they say we're trying to rig the system, we're trying to unrig the system. I'm putting the money in to change the system to get the money out of the system. Like we're hoping to raise $250 million for the elections, not just the presidential, but all the elections next year. And you say, boy, that's a lot of money, and it is a tremendous amount. But you look at the hundreds of billions, maybe trillions, that are going to support the current system. Like the corporate welfare, including the way the tax code works, all the exemptions and privileges in that are estimated to be over $5 trillion.
Charles, you recently made an acquisition. You have been investing in biotech. Is this where you think the growth in the economy is in the next 10 years?
Well, once again, I believe in the division of labor by comparative advantage. Everybody needs to understand what their capabilities are and do that, not what's hotter choice. But we're investing heavily in two new areas. One is biotechnology. That's biofuels. That's making chemicals with biological processes. That's better utilizing fertilizer and stimulating plant genes so they use less water and can withstand temperature changes better. So we're working all that. The problem is to get approval to implement these things that help everybody is so difficult now.
Well, I think the regulatory environment has been one issue, and the reason that businesses are not hiring more jobs and creating more jobs, rather.
And it's why the median wage over the last 8 years has actually declined. That's shocking, because with all this technology, if it were allowed to be applied, the productivity of labor would go up. But we have this two-tiered system that the cronies are making more money than ever, and the disadvantaged people who have nothing and no say are being held down. And the worst thing is being unemployed, because, as I said, is you don't learn these skills that you learn from taking any job. And the studies show if you get a job and keep it, you won't stay in poverty long. Because if you apply yourself and you learn, you will advance.
Why haven't you endorsed a candidate yet?
My view is the Democrats are taking us down the road to serfdom at 100 miles an hour, and the Republicans are taking us there at 70 miles an hour. So they're both complicit in where we are and where we're headed. I don't support Democrats now because they're trying to destroy free speech in the marketplace of ideas, which is foundational to a free society. So whatever else they stand for, anybody who's going to do that, I can't support in any way. But what I'm really looking for is a presidential candidate who will try to reverse that direction rather than, okay, maybe rather than go 70 miles, they'll take us there at 60. We need somebody like a Calvin Coolidge or a William Gladstone in Great Britain who will change the trajectory of the country. And both of them created marvelous prosperity, improved the welfare system, helped the poor, made government more efficient. I mean, they had to do radical things like fire non-performers, get rid of the waste and corruption. I mean, this is heavy lifting because you got a lot of vested interests that want to keep it that way.
Charles, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.